Vocals are good. In Qatar for the penultimate round of the season. My name's Andy, and I'm joined in the commentary box for the first time in a very long time by my good friend, Emo Guy. Hello, Ian. Welcome along.
Hello, how are we?
Rather good, thank you. All the better for the pleasure of your company. So tonight, obviously, we're right at the end of the season. I only started commentating on this series last week, so I've already commentated on 2 rounds, but we are already right at the end of the season, which is a bit of a ball ache because obviously I'd have loved to have covered more of it, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, at the business end of the season, the championship is still on the line, and we have got both contenders in here tonight, which is obviously fantastic. The situation is currently this at the moment. So it's Matty Pitt who leads the championship on 285 points, and he's 35 points clear of Trevor, who is second on 250 points. These two, the only realistic contenders, justify still in mathematical contention, but not being here tonight, that would rule them out by default anyway, even if it wasn't for the fact they'd need to win both races and for the other two to both retire from both races. Much done for Justify, and Matty Pitt and Trevor, but Matty Pitt with a significant advantage in the championship coming into tonight, knowing he's 35 points ahead. This is the penultimate round, so unless Trevor can outscore Matty Pitt by 11 points pardon me, tonight, it will be championship over for Trevor, and Matty Pitt will be the champion once again. So it's looking very much like Matty Pitt's got this one in the bag. Ian, obviously you've been in championship battles yourself many a time over the years in sim racing, and in a situation like this, which one do you most relate to out of these two? You've got Matty Pitt well clear, you've got Trevor chasing that possibility. Tell us from your perspective, who would you rather be?
I would rather be chasing, to be honest, because that way you've got something that's pushing you forward. You've always got something that you want to be chasing for. Just, don't get me wrong, it's nice to be out at the front, knowing that you are the one that everyone has to beat. But overall, I would rather be the one that's chasing.
Interesting take. I like it. But and obviously I know that sometimes it takes that pressure off not being leading, but I've got to put this into perspective, mate. He's 35 points ahead with 2 races left. Matty Pitt is.
But you know what it's like racing. Anything can happen, regardless of how good of a season you're having. You could be, winning every single race out there, but then all it takes is one small incident, someone that misses their breaking point by a few inches, and that's the race leader's race over. It could flip the championship on its head.
You bring up an interesting point, and I will come to that, because last week at Las Vegas, in the latest round 22, we did actually see Matty Pitt get caught up in a few little skirmishes. He managed to recover actually very well. I think to 3rd place in the end. He was 4th on the track, but I think got 3rd on the penalties. So only lost 10 points to Trevor in the last race, but Trevor did run away with an absolutely dominant victory last week in Las Vegas. And he's looking very good so far in this qualifying session at the moment. Just want to double check in. Is your audio, or you've done all the settings, haven't you? And stuff like that. Perfect. Okay, they should be able to hear you. I haven't checked it yet, but I will check it before the race. Trevor obviously has been looking very strong in the races that I've seen. Matty Pitt said to me on the Discord before I even started commentating, he goes, this Trevor guy, he's incredibly fast, and if he turns up to every race, then he's definitely going to catch me. Well, obviously he didn't turn up to every race. He wasn't here a week today at Brazil, and that may have cost him his chance of taking this purple sector Formula One championship. But so far, he's doing everything he has to do. So let's see how it goes. Obviously, he's driving in the Ferrari. It's not got the livery which we've seen, obviously, unveiled the other day, which has got a predominantly white sort of livery around the engine area, or this particular version of the F1, or sorry, the SF24 is mostly red. But Ian, what do you think of the Ferrari livery that was unveiled the other day? You've got there's obviously, because of HP being the sponsor now, the title sponsor of Ferrari, they've now had to incorporate quite a bit of that what's on the rear wing, you see, onto the engine cover as well.
See, I like a bit of red and white, but I just don't know. I don't know how. I feel like it's a bit too much. You know what I mean? It could be a lot worse. They could have put a white stripe along the top of the nose, but as far as F1 liveries go these days, I would say it's still pretty much one of the biggest changes that we see in all the liveries that we're going to be seeing this season.
That's the funny thing. I mean, Jack Whitehall said before the start of the event, he said only Formula One could base an event entirely off of revealing car liveries that are identical to the previous season and still make a load of money and still create a whole thing around it. And it's kind of true in a way. But yeah, Ferraris was a real standout in terms of the differential between last season and this season, which, you know, I thought was, it's interesting. But then again, it is all for corporate reasons, you know, and like you say, it's nice having a little bit of that secondary colour, but Ferraris, you know, mostly should be red. And I feel like maybe it's gone a bit, as you say, I agree with you totally. It's got a bit over the top, I think, with the whole corporate stuff. You know, I think ultimately the blood, the essence of it should be red, which is Ferrari through and through. We have got Senna in the comments. Just quickly coming to Senna, saying, commenting, do you mean joining the commentary box or do you mean on the track, mate? Because obviously Purple Sector, I know Matty Pitt runs Purple Sector. I know that he vets and approves all the drivers. So I don't know. You'd have to speak to him about driving, but I don't know about commentating. If you fancy it, then on track. I don't think that's going to be possible, unfortunately. Also, if you're interested, though, I know that you were talking about making a league beforehand when we were still at Motive. If you've got anything running, then let us know, because we're free to do the comms most nights a week. You know, if you fancy setting something up, then other than Tuesday and Thursday, my schedule's free. I don't know about you, Ian, but
I will warn you now, Senna, I am not cheap to commentate for.
Well, don't worry, because I sort that out. You know, that's fine. He's on my payroll. Nobody else has to worry about that. So don't worry.
No, if they want to hear my voice on their stream, they have to pay me
Oh, no, sorry. My terms and conditions, the terms and conditions of any stream that I commentate on ever, as it all has to be streamed on Motive, regardless. Doesn't matter which league it is. And no, that's the only agreement. I don't take money. I don't demand any payments, but the only demand that I make is that I stream it on Motive. That's the only demand.
What are you trying to say? Is that a dick?
Huh?
Is that a dick?
No, it's not a dig. I'm just saying that's the one demand that I have, and it's a big one, because I don't stream to other people's channels.
Well, that's a load of bunk, because you used to stream on Simply.
Yeah, but that was as a co-commentator with Matt.
Does it matter? You still did it?
I wasn't streaming, actually. I was commentating. I was commentating alongside. I never streamed on Simplay ever. I was always there as a guest commentator with Matt. I never streamed on Simplay. I can guarantee you, find one stream where I was the lead commentator on Simplay. I guarantee you it never happened.
Stated who was the lead lead streamer?
I was never the streamer. Matt was always streaming. I was always commentating alongside him. I never streamed on Simplay. I promise you. I promise you.
Let's aside for 1 second. Senna's got nothing going on at the minute. This is going to be his last F1 game that he's going to be playing.
Oh.
And he's just finishing his latest esports season.
Wow, fair play. He's a very quick driver, is Senna, to be fair. and improved massively through the seasons. But yeah, congratulations to you, mate, on this on the esports. What is it you're doing next? Then are you going to be? Are you not in a position to practice anymore, or are you just moving on to other things? What's occurring with that one?
Well, I don't think this is his last esports session. I think this is going to be his last
F1 game.
either binary. But I think he's going to be moving on to other games, like probably the new Assetto Corsa, probably iRacing, maybe.
Yeah. If you're on ACC Centre, then we're planning on setting something up actually on Sunday, aren't we, Ian? We're going to be hopefully running some events soon on Sunday nights, endurance races, probably 2-hour endurance for solos, maybe once a month, 4 to 6 hour with teams, something like that.
No pay rewards.
Well,
Last time we did that.
No, I was thinking maybe for the monthly ones. I was thinking maybe we could do an entry fee and winner, and then winner keeps half the pool, and the other half goes to charity or something. Maybe something like that. Be quite a nice idea.
If it's going to be paid, I would do it. Probably like once every couple of months, not once every month.
We'll see. Something periodically anyway. Not too often though, because as you say, it kind of takes the speciality out of it when you do it too often, for sure.
Senna is currently second place at Top Tier 1 Racing Hub right now. After F124, I'll move to ACC with some of my teammates for long endurance races.
Awesome.
Good move to make, Senna. I did ACC exclusively for endurance races on the PC for a while, and it's a really good thing to get into. It does test you, test your ability to stay awake as you get older, which my last one I ultimately failed because I fell asleep. But yeah, it's a really good move to make. It really does get you into the mentality of what it could be like in real life.
I'm just going to say, I never knew about this story about Ian falling asleep at the wheel during an endurance race, but that almost. I thought you just said you did.
No, I fell asleep during it when I fell asleep.
Oh, you were due to take over.
Yeah.
Oh no. What happened then? Did they realise quickly and just get someone else to do it?
Yeah.
To be fair, I was going to say that's not actually Ian's biggest clanger in sim racing, in my opinion. The worst one was when he was connected to a server using 4G, and he left his phone unplugged, and his phone died halfway through the race. So his connection went. That's one of my favourite. That's one of my favourite sim racing stories to tell. Honestly, it was hilarious. All right, calm down. Not yet. Jesus, we're commentating. After the race, mate. Jesus. Right.
Why?
Well, because we're busy. We can't do that. It's inappropriate.
Well, we're not doing any racing yet.
Come on, mate. We've got to stay professional. We've got business to conduct.
Professional?
Yeah.
Try again.
Okay, provisional.
Are you just going to stay and keep the camera on the car that's in the pits?
Sorry, do apologise. Right, anyway, it does appear that actually we've got a much closer order now. The likes of Glenn and Davidoff have got a lot closer to Trevor at the top of this leaderboard. So it would appear that the gap between Trevor and Glenn is only 1/10 and a half. You've got Davidoff within 0.2 of a second.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear what?
I can't hear anything because the engines are so loud.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll try and stay off the onboard cameras unless there's an overtake.
At least at that point, give me a heads up.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is when there's an overtake, I'll quickly flick onto it, get the move, and then come back off. But yeah, so it's actually very close here in the leaderboard now. Like the likes of Glenn, Davidoff, C. Faulkner, and Ruck have actually closed that gap significantly. They're all within 0.3 of a second of the top time. We got Andy O'Connor here saying, "Come on, Sheep." Who's Sheep? I'm interested. I can't figure out who Sheep is. I'm looking at the order and I can't work out who could have the nickname Sheep. Ian, can you troubleshoot on this one?
Pass.
No, I don't know. Trevor, Glenn, Davidoff, C. Faulkner, Ruck, Matty Pitt, T, Drauga, Streetboy. Oh, David. Oh, Davidoff. There we go. Davidoff. He's always got lots of fans in the chat. I've noticed this actually. It's brilliant because he's got somebody, I can't remember the name. I think is it Bailey's the name. Bailey often comments in support of Davidoff, and obviously now we got Mr. O'Connor as well. But yeah, excellent to see that. And Davidoff, a very popular driver here tonight. So let's see if Davidoff can deliver the goods. Had a great race at Interlagos last week. Not so great at Las Vegas on Thursday, but nonetheless, plenty of potential there. And very good on the tyres and the strategy as well. So from P3 on the grid could do some damage for sure. I just saw Senna do a comment. Ian, can you read us out what Senna said?
We had a race this Sunday which Polar Workshop was what track was that, Senna? Because for all I know that could be Monza.
Andy O'Connor, you're being so rude. You're being so harsh. I'm sure he's all right. I'm sure he's good. I'm sure he's great. To be fair, I've seen him. He's pretty good. He's pretty handy.
Lap time around Qatar is still 2 seconds ahead of the. Is it 2 seconds? 1 second? I can't see because the screen's quite blurry, but.
They're in the low 122s. These guys.
Right, so yeah, it's still about 2 seconds a lap faster. So Senna, yeah, it was a good thing you did join because you'll be banned immediately.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you got leagues which are more sort of relaxed and casual, but I think the main thing and the main draw to sport in general isn't necessarily the level of competition or the level of skill. It's mainly the whether or not the people racing or competing are evenly matched. And if you've got an evenly matched bunch of individuals or teams competing, then I think that's the main thing that you want to see. That's the entertainment aspect of it, in my opinion.
We need to get some SPMM in here.
SPMM? Sorry, but you're going to have to elaborate. What is that?
Skill-based matchmaking.
Oh, right, okay. I think they technically have got that because I think they base entering the league on what your AI difficulty is or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, pretty much. If you've got an evenly matched bunch of people racing, then you're going to have an exciting and interesting race to watch, aren't you, I suppose?
Well, that was true, yeah.
But anyway, Trevor currently on provisional pole position right now, not by much, but a tenth and a half, a solid enough gap that he will be feeling confident at the moment, and he's out there right now trying to improve on his provisional pole position time, and he should just about be able to get around in time to do another lap, but I think it could be likely that he's not going to be fueled for one more lap here, because I know drivers obviously like to run the minimal fuel possible because the speed is much better. But C. Faulkner there has just gone and absolutely put a party pooper in Trevor's qualifying here. He's gone to the top of the leaderboard there on a 122.0, and Trevor now up against it here. Can he improve on this lap? Yes, he can. He improves by margin of 0.04 of a second and moves to 16 thousandths quicker than C. Faulkner. As we can see, a few drivers coming out of the final corner here. We got Drauger into the pits. So it's going to be no improvement for Drauger, and P7 at best here for this session. In the meantime, Davidoff has pitted, so looks like it's going to be P4 at best for Davidoff now. But look at that, Trevor there immediately making that response. C. Faulkner must have thought that was the job done there, and that's crushing there. After you've grinded, you've worked, you've really tried to get that time down over the course of the session, and then straight away the driver who you were trying to usurp then goes and does another lap time. It's a really frustrating experience. That I've been there before, and I know exactly what C. Faulkner's feeling at this moment, I must say.
Senna's put in saying that if we do set up that ACC league, he might join us.
So it won't be a league, at least not yet. But it's going to start off being a weekly endurance events. So it'll be individual sign-ups. So every week there'll be a new event on SimGrid, and you can sign up to each individual race one by one. Reason for that is because with championships, quite often retention can sort of dwindle, and with my admin skills, I'll lose track of it after 3 or 4 weeks, and people won't be turning up, and I'll just let it slide, and then it will end up with 10 drivers by the end of the season. So what's best is if we just sign up for each individual event, just around a different track, different weather, change things up a little bit, I think that'd be perfect. And then once a month, or maybe once every 2 months, like Ian said, we'll run a proper endurance with teams, maybe a 4 or 6 hour event, depending on obviously the track maybe. And yeah, we'll see where we go from there. But that is that. For qualifying here in Qatar for the Purple Sector Formula One League round 23 or 24 for season 11. And it's Trevor on pole by 16 thousandths of a second. A very close qualifying session there. C. Faulkner definitely put him under pressure, and it could be an interesting race here. But Trevor, the only driver, I think, on the... Oh, no. There's 2 other drivers on the PC as well. Trevor, Glenn and Davidoff. But Trevor...
Don't even.
Jesus, I'm ass. Well, if you're ass, then no, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, so Trevor, the Canadian driver here tonight in the Ferrari, putting it on pole with C. Faulkner in second place, Ken and Davidoff on the second row with Ruck and Matty Pitt, followed by Drager and T, Street Boy and Rexy Boy completing the top 10. White Shadow Hull at the back of the pack there in P11. Oh, here we go then.
Well, while we're just getting set up, I'm going to get myself a couple of adult beverages.
Excellent. And this is the guy who used to be teetotal.
Hey, now.
That went out the window, didn't it?
SHIT changes, okay?
Fair play. To be fair, I think, what was it, from the age of 20 to 25, I think he didn't drink, and now he's making up for all the years of lost time.
From the age of 0 to the age of 25.
Really? No way.
You forget I'm 28 next month.
Jeez. Yeah, but I thought you drank a bit when you were in your teens.
Nah, not really, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, back in a second.
Rightio. All right then. Well, here we go then. So Ian's planning to work under the influence here tonight. I have actually got some Strongbows in the corner, but I'm not going to crack them open because it might inhibit my ability to keep up with the action. I tend to find I have tried commentating drunk in the past, and it doesn't really work because I kind of do rely on my quick articulation skills to do this. So I'm going to leave the drink until later on, if at all. But anyway, here we go then. So getting underway for the formation lap, and it's obviously Trevor on pole with C4 in the second, Glenn and Davidoff in third and fourth. And they're all on the medium tyres, but you've got Ruck on the hards, and Ruck's the only hard runner on this grid at the moment, and then everybody else on the medium tyres. So here we are then, pulling up on the grid, getting ready to go here for the Qatar Grand Prix here tonight at the Purple Sector Formula One League. Here we go. We should probably post the stream on the Discord, shouldn't we, I suppose?
Yeah, that's probably a smart idea.
Yeah, I think it might be worth doing.
And you're talking about drinking a lot. I've only drank 3 or 4 cans of Blue Wicked every other night.
Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, 3 or 4 a night. It's alright. Yeah. Here we go then. Lights coming out. Lights coming out ahead of the grid. We're about to go racing here with lights out, and away we go. And it's Trevor there who gets a decent start there from pole position as Clen's already up into second place ahead of Davidoff. C. Faulkner, should I say, as Davidoff is ahead of Seton Faulkner there up into third place. So C. Faulkner's dropped back a little bit. Davidoff a bit twitchy on the exit there as there's contact there between Davidoff and C. Faulkner. As you see there, Clen losing 2 places there. Got caught up on the inside between him and Matty Pitt has said, thank you very much, boys. Up into third place he goes. But Trevor leading the race by over a second ahead of Davidoff. Matty Pitt there in third place, followed by C. Faulkner with Dragon Rock. Then you got Clen T, Rexy Boy, Street Boy, and White Shadow Hull at the back of the pack in P11. But Trevor there managing to get the jump on everybody else and is now singing away out the front of the pack as you got Clen moving back ahead of Rock there up into P6 after that nightmare of the first few corners there for Clen. Looked like he got the dream start initially, but then things took an absolute turn and dropped back down to 7th place, now back up into P6. But on the first lap of this race here, it's Trevor, Davidoff, Matty Pitt, C. Faulkner, Drago the top 5, and you got Clen ahead of Rock, followed by T with Rexy Boy, Street Boy, and White Shadow Hull there, rounding out the order for the time being. But interesting start to this race. C. Faulkner looking very racy here on the back of Matty Pitt in this battle for third place. Obviously, C. Faulkner will be looking to try and regain some of these losses in these early stages because he was really on terms with Trevor in the qualifying session, but right now can see his rival for the win potentially. disappearing off into the sunset here as we ride on board with C. Faulkner. No DRS at the end of the first lap, and no dividends there being paid just at the moment for any of these drivers. They're all holding position at the moment. But yeah, Ian, interesting start there, and shame for C. Faulkner dropping back down the order a bit.
Yeah, it did take a bit of a beating there at the beginning, but it's, as I say, it's rubbish racing. But if he wants to just keep his head down, keep putting those laps out, mind these tyres. But at this point, Trevor, he's got enough field, he can push as hard as he wants. So it's up to him to be able to be the one to manage his tyres a little bit more and try gain a little bit more out of fuel a lap or two on Trevor, grinds down his tyres while he while he will have a little bit more of an opportunity to be able to gently nudge his tyres into the correct window.
For sure, because having that clean air means that you haven't got that dirty air coming off of the car behind, and that allows you to definitely conserve those a lot more. But we got Justify in the comments here saying, oh, here we go again, Trevor into the distance. Hopefully not, because we saw it was pretty close in qualifying, but also Trevor, we've seen many times in the races, does seem to step it up a gear once we get into the Grand Prix itself. The gap's come down a little bit coming through the final sector though, under 2 seconds now between Trevor and Davidoff. So maybe Davidoff's starting to get into his stride. Let's hope that he's not taking too much out of the tyres. He's got a train of cars behind him. Matty Pitt, C. Faulkner, Drauger, all very, very close here in this battle for second place. So it's looking really hot out the front at the moment in terms of the battle for the podiums. But yeah, Trevor threatening to break away. I feel like this gap, though, is being exaggerated a little bit by his trouble-free first lap. I feel like maybe the difference in pace isn't quite as substantial as what we're seeing. If you look at the gap and you see that and you think, oh, he's heads and shoulders above him, but I don't think that's quite the case at the moment. I think that the others just need to get into a groove, maybe stop fighting each other so much, try and work together a little bit here and get in line and just get after him. It could be a case of strategy playing a big part later on if any of these drivers from the pack want to try and stake their claim for the race victory here tonight. But it's looking very good. Trevor certainly looking very good for his money at the moment.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier on. It's all about tyre management. If Trevor wants to try and push out ahead, do more with his tyres, as we just saw Davidoff try and make a little bit of a quick excursion into the pits there.
Bit of a hash of it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if Trevor wants to use more of his tyre by trying to create a bigger gap to the rest of the pack, and that's just going to ruin his longer race pace. Whereas these guys at the back, especially those behind from Davidoff's back, behind Davidoff, are going to be able to not push the tyres as much as they'll be able to. So they have to come off the accelerator more. They're going to have to be a little bit more mindful of the cars in front, so they're not being able to push their tyres as hard. They can't go as fly around the corners as much as what Trevor can with the freedom. Yeah,
absolutely. Talking to tyres, you've got Rock here who's running in 7th place at the moment, obviously starting on the hard tyres, and it could be somebody to come out of the pack maybe later on.
I could not hear a single thing you were saying.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that because it was the default camera. But Rock here on the hard tyres, not too far for the leaders, about 5 seconds off for P1 at the moment, but well within that pack in the battle for the podiums. So obviously on those hard tyres could become a factor later on. Putting the mediums on for the final stint. Who knows about that? Maybe.
It's definitely possible. You definitely do not want to be running softs here. Even at this time, as we see, he's going for the move.
Yep.
Can he be? Oh, he's made that stick, yeah.
Easy doings there for him as we see T having a little look to the inside. Not quite close enough just at the moment. Obviously, T being thwarted a little bit by the fact that they were all in a bit of a line there, and Glenn was able to tuck into the slipstream of Rock coming towards the end of the straight, which allowed Glenn to just get a little bit of speed that he wouldn't have got otherwise. Got a very familiar face in the comments. Sorry, mate.
Sorry to disrupt you there, but
no, you're good.
I know that, see where it says medium. For those at home, I've not played this one. I've not played this F1 game. It's been a while. It's been a good while since I've last done any sim racing, but I'm guessing that bar next to where it says medium is the battery deploy.
Yeah, it's the one in the middle, the bottom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just above the gearbox reading.
I can see the battery percentage.
Just above the RPM, you've got the battery percentage just above the RPM.
Right. Okay, that's the battery deploy. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's how much you got left, which is actually going to be crucial because if you look at Drauga here, he's only got just under 20% left, which is pretty insane at this stage in the race.
What's that red bar then?
The red bar, that's the brake pedal, isn't it?
No, that's if you look at the current speed of the driver, you'll see the accelerator input, and if you look at the opposite side on the left side of the
Yeah, that's the brake.
That's the brake.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the red bar that's next to the medium. That says, there's a wee red bar that goes up and down next on the right side of where it says medium.
Yeah, that's the brake.
No.
It is.
No.
And actually, interestingly enough, oh no, wait. Yeah, no, I don't know.
If anybody in the chat knows, please inform me.
I don't know.
Also, Mr. Wikipedia here doesn't have the answers.
Right. Well, if I was Wikipedia, I'd be misleading everybody and stirring up total nonsense, wouldn't I? We got JR in the comments. Sorry, I tried to come to you. JR says, "How do you, Andrew? Hope you and Nana are okay. Love JR household and you as well. Hopefully, you and the family are doing well. You and Lorna and the kids are doing fantastically." Yeah. Is your audio even working, mate? Surely your audio's not working.
Well, Sarah was replying to me, so I'd imagine so.
Is your audio even working, mate? Surely your audio's not working. Hold on. You're audible enough, but you're very quiet. Yeah. You can hear you, but it's not very clear. But anyway.
Just having a little bit of a test with me. I don't know what I've done.
Poor guy. Alright. So, looking like Ian, look at this. Davidoff, Matty Pitt and C. Faulkner and Drauga are keeping the gap to Trevor at 2 seconds now. So it looks like we could be in for a five-way battle here. I was speculating a couple of laps ago that maybe the gap was a little bit unrepresentative due to Trevor's very clear passage in the start. But things have now settled down, and they're definitely looking like these guys have got a bit of a chance here. JR mentioning there is a bit of an echo on Ian's mic. Yep, did know about that one. No, I don't think it's your fault. But I think that if I turned you down, then it'd be even... No, I can't turn you down any lower because you're already quiet as it is. Let me just have a quick look at the party settings. Literally, guys, I'll be 10 seconds. Just stay with us, and I won't be a second. I'm just going to have a quick look at Ian's volume. Oh, you know what? I can actually turn you up, but your echo's going to be worse. But I can turn you up. The echo's going to be even more pronounced, but at least we can hear you now. No, don't do that. Jesus Christ, we're going to lose... We're gonna lose all 7 viewers in a minute. Jesus Christ!
Bring me back, man.
For goodness sake! Right. So anyway, back to the leaders. We got Trevor still doing the business at the moment. Justify says, "Come on, David!" And David currently doing a decent enough job at the moment. Davidoff is in second place, so he's keeping the gap consistent here to Trevor.
Keep the heat,
keeping these drivers behind, but the likes of Matty Pitt, C. Faulkner and Drauga are looking pretty hungry now. Also, I'm noticing Ruck's now got ahead of Glenn up into P6 on those hard tyres and is starting to close in on this lead pack. So maybe Ruck fancying that on those hard tyres. Obviously, we know that the tyre wear is pretty serious around Qatar, being that the temperatures are barbaric and the track is pretty hard on the tyres as it is. These curbs, they're absolutely lethal. So it could be...
So I can remember after I think it was the first race that they were used here, they actually had to file down the curbs because they were absolutely shredding down the tyres.
It wasn't the first one, but it was the second one since they started. But it was 2 years ago, 2023. The first race was 21, then they skipped 22 because of the World Cup. 23, they raced again, but the problem was, whereas in 2021 it was start of December, in 23 it was mid-October, so obviously the track temperature was like about 10 degrees higher than what it was a couple of years before. And so what they did, do you remember they enforced minimum stints? So you had to do 3 separate stints on the tyres, which then caused a whole host of other problems because it meant the drivers were pushing flat out in... Yep, lovely move there from C. Faulkner into third place. But yeah, what was going on? The drivers were pushing flat out for the entirety of the race distance, and it's not something that they train for or are used to. And, people say, snowflakes, they're paid fucking ridiculous amounts. But at the end of the day, when you're not trained for that, when you're not used to that, and when that's not what you prepared for, it could be dangerous to be in that position. People don't realise how much strain your body goes through in that situation.
It's not just that. I'll challenge anybody that's never been in a Formula 1 car before to go out at a track like this, in heats like this, wearing a fireproof suit, and try and go the speed that these guys do for the time that they do.
Just give it a go for one lap. One lap is all we're asking. Yeah. Yeah. Literally. So yeah, respect to the F1 drivers, but yeah, it was a farcical situation a couple of years ago in Qatar. There's no other word for it, and obviously they learned the lesson. They moved it back a bit this year. I think it was again second to last race of the season, right at the beginning of December, maybe end of November. So a little bit more humane for the drivers to deal with, but
I don't put that race anywhere near how bad it must have been. How bad it must have been for the drivers during the daytime race at Bahrain.
Yeah, they used to do that back in the day, but the thing was, you know what? They used to do it in April as well instead of March. Yep. Imagine that. As we see Matty Pitt there skipping around the outside. Yeah, Matty Pitt there absolutely dancing around the outside of Davidoff there up into third place. Now trying to tackle on the back of C. Faulkner as well. One other race where the heat used to be extreme was in Malaysia as well, Sepang. That used to be another one. The race used to be held in March, and they then moved that to October, which I would have thought would probably have been worse, to be honest. But it's been...
When I was in Turkey in October last year, at the beginning of the year, say about like March time, the temperatures can get up to 55 degrees, but in October it was 25.
Yeah. It's a big difference actually. Yeah, it is a big difference. It's the difference a month can make is enormous, for sure. It's
What do you mean a month? It was from March to October. That's not a month.
What you're saying? March was hotter than October, or the other way around too? Oh jeez, I thought you were saying it's the other way around. I thought, wow.
No. In March it was up to about 55, 60 degrees.
Yeah.
In October, I think the highest it got was like 27 or something like that.
As we see Davidoff here making a move down the inside of Matty Pitt into turn one. Goes a little bit wide here. Matty Pitt unable to come back at him there. Davidoff up into third place. So Davidoff trying to regain a bit of the time lost.
Trevor, it's coming down.
Only 2 seconds, yeah. 2.0 is the gap.
He's dropped 500 of a second.
Obviously, we know C. Faulkner had that nightmare of an opening lap, dropped from second to fourth place. But since then has really managed to claw his way back. And fortunately for C. Faulkner, Trevor hadn't managed to pull away too much. So now that he's obviously got no one between them, he's able to chip away and really put Trevor under pressure here. Could we be seeing C. Faulkner be the one to take the fight here to Trevor tonight here in Qatar? Because he came tantalisingly close, didn't he, in qualifying? It was 16 thousandths of a second between them. Trevor literally was clinging on by the skin of his teeth, and for a moment we thought C. Faulkner had managed to get him at the end of the session until Trevor then came and delivered that earth-shattering demoralisation blow. But until then...
3/10 of a second, he is real now, man.
He really is. Could be that C. Faulkner's looked after the tyres better, but you wouldn't have thought so, would you? Because he's been in traffic.
Well, what's the lap times been like?
The lap times, well, we don't actually have data for that, so we can see the individual sector times, and we can see what the lap time is when they cross the line, but we don't actually have a backlog of the data, as far as I know. Unless anybody knows. If anybody knows if that does exist on F1 spectator mode, let us know, but I don't believe it does.
They used to.
Really?
Yeah, but I remember.
Whereabouts?
I think it was F122 that they did it at 23 as well. I'm not too sure.
So you could get the lap charts.
Aye.
Oh yeah, but it's too protrusive though. You can't really see the action. You have to. It's only really viable if there's nothing going on.
Yeah, but so's Lance Stroll, and yet the commentator still flipped to him every two laps.
Oh no, Lance Stroll has crashed, and we need to know what's happening.
Well, there's only one Aston Martin out there tonight, so he's 5 seconds behind his ninth place car.
Yeah.
9 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not going to compare Street Boy to Lance Stroll.
That's not fair on Stroll.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, Street Boy.
I don't really know Street Boy, to be honest. I actually don't know anybody here. Not personally. In the gritty streets of where? yeah, definitely. We got the hostile and challenging upbringing in one of the roughest, or rather richest parts of the world, should I say.
Hey, just because you grew up in a rich part of the world doesn't mean you're actually going to have a good life.
Oh, absolutely, no. In terms of happiness and in terms of upbringing, it doesn't mean much. But in terms of, well, I guess safety and, it's pros and cons in it. As it's pros, as it's cons.
Me being me, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking in my head because I will probably get this stream demonetized.
Right, we'll leave that to our imaginations thing. So I have no idea. I can't even think of what you were going to say.
I will message you on Discord though.
Okay, I literally can't even think of anything that you could say at the moment that's inappropriate. But fair enough. I'll give it to you if it's good. But yeah, looking like at the front. Trevor's gap to C. Faulkner is now stabilising a little bit. C. Faulkner was definitely giving it some, but now it seems like Trevor's started to respond a little bit and is keeping the gap at around the same 1.5 seconds at the moment. These two have gone a long way, and C. Faulkner is coming into the pits now, which would suggest that C. Faulkner's been taking a bit more out of the tyres than Trevor has. But C. Faulkner's done a really good job keeping those tyres going until now. T's also in. Street Boy is the other driver on the medium tyres, so if Street Boy comes in now, that will mean that all the drivers except Trevor have come in, and that is now the case. So looking like all the medium runners in the pits, or rather they've all been in except Trevor, who is continuing on his way here on lap 14.
But now that promotes Ruck into second place, and he's been on those horses since the start of the race.
You're absolutely right.
That will promote him into P1 once Trevor does come into the pits. But for how long will Ruck be able to handle those worn hard tyres?
Well, this is the thing. Ruck is going to have the faster medium tyres for the final stint. But when Trevor comes in, and C. Faulkner's already been in, and Davidoff and all that, they're going to be going a lot faster than Ruck is at this moment on their fresh hards, which means that they're probably, I say probably because it's not definite, but they're probably going to get the jump on Ruck, because Ruck's going to have to stay out on these hards for a couple more laps. So in that time that these guys are doing their laps on their fresh tyres, they're probably going to get the undercut on Ruck, which means that when Ruck does eventually come out on those fresh mediums, he's going to have to do a lot of overtaking, which is going to then stop him a little bit, or at least delay him from chasing after Trevor. Oh!
Hold on.
Let's get him up.
The two front runners have penalties.
Oh, look at that, Ruck. Ruck's been a naughty boy. Jesus. 9 seconds. Yeah, that's going to be a serious penalty to overhaul.
C. Faulkner has another 3-second penalty.
Yeah, so Trevor's got a 3-second delta in his favour over C. Faulkner, but it's looking like Trevor is looking pretty good here with the penalties as well as his position.
C. Faulkner's overtaken him.
Yep, C. Faulkner's got the jump here on Trevor. That's massive, because the gap was just under 2 seconds. So C. Faulkner's made that undercut work, but Trevor with the less penalties than C. Faulkner, and obviously with the slightly fresher tyres as well, might have a chance to make the move and try and pull out 3 seconds over the course of, or if it doesn't need to, because C. Faulkner's not with the penalty, but C. Faulkner's got to pull out 3 seconds here to Trevor now.
But Trevor has to worry about Davidoff that is really close behind.
That's right. If Davidoff can provide to be a bit of a distraction here for then Trevor, then maybe C. Faulkner might be able to get away, but it's going to be tricky here for C. Faulkner to make this work, because with that extra penalty and the slightly older tyres, he's got a heck of a task on his hand here. Now it's all down to Ruck now with the 9-second penalty. We'll be able to put the medium tyres on for that final stint and is staying out continuously. I wonder if Ruck's going to try and go to about lap 21 and put the softs on, which would be a heck of a feat, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
It's definitely not impossible now. Also, we can't see what lap times are like, but it's kind of keeping the delta to second place, to a consistent pace. Dropping. Trevor's overtaking him.
Yeah, job done there for Trevor. So I was just going to say, because the gap's actually come down to under 20 seconds, so it's come down a little bit, as you'd expect, because these guys are on much fresher tyres. Also, Drauger here, making a move on Matty Pitt around the outside, and that's also job done there for Drauger. So a couple of position changes there into turn 1 with DRS here in full effect, but Matty Pitt's not done yet, as you can see, putting that pressure on, looking to try and come back here at the Alpine if he possibly can. Rexy Boy's got a 3-second time penalty as well now, and they're being handed out left, right and centre around this track, and it's not something that you tend to it's not something that you're surprised about around this track, is it, Ian?
It's really not. It's one of those fast-paced tracks that kind of, I don't want to say it promotes off track.
It does though. You're right.
But it really does put you at the Stewart's mercy, and the mercy of your tyres having enough grip and the aero being able to take you around the black stuff and keep you in between those two white lines.
Well, I was going to say, you're absolutely right with that sort of suggestion, because the fact that you've got all the runoff areas and you've got so much tarmac on the inside of the apexes, it does encourage it almost. It's almost like they're daring you to take liberties.
I'm very much unlike Jeddah. There is no, you'd be lucky if you've got about 3 or 4 runoff areas out the entire track.
Yeah, there's one which is just after the first sector, which I always cut by accident because I always forget it's there. But do you know what? On my career mode, I actually managed to win the F2 race at Jeddah somehow. I don't know how.
Oh my god, you actually won a race.
Yeah, well I win a few races on career. I race default setups on 75 AI difficulty, and I'm actually leading the F1 championship at the moment.
Are you sure you didn't just add that extra, that 7 in there just to impress everybody? You don't just race them at 5%?
No, genuinely. I won the F2 championship. It got to the point where I was so far ahead that I just skipped the last few races. And then I think I'm on Baku now, but mate, it's horrible. I hate Baku.
Right, everybody watching at home, if you wish for Andy to prove himself in this, then please do like the stream and comment. Andy, prove it.
Okay, I will. Do you know what I should do now? I'm going to stream. Once. What I'll do, I'll do one race on career mode every night, and I'll stream it.
Every night, yeah.
Yeah. If 10 people say Andy, prove it, then I will stream all my career mode races one a night, and yeah, until I reach the end of this season.
But how do we know that just isn't broadcast of random footage as yours?
Because it will be stream live.
Doesn't mean anything. You could be they could be watching someone else's screen.
Yeah, but I'll be talking over it and responding to comments.
Doesn't mean anything.
No, I'll be talking live and responding to the comments.
Yeah, you can have it. You could be streaming someone else's screen and still be talking.
Somebody could say, Andy, flick left on this next straight, and I'll flick left. Flick to the pit wall on the next lap or something. Something random like that, and I'll do it just to prove it.
Oh, it looks like the streams went dead anyway, so.
Which one?
I meant the chat.
Oh, right. Has a little bit, yeah. I didn't mean like now, I just meant, afterwards or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, never mind. It's alright. Most of the people watch it after. Most of the people are driving, they just watch it afterwards. And you get a couple of people who are obviously associates at those racing, and they'll comment live. But generally speaking, it's the drivers who watch it back afterwards who give us the numbers. So I'm not particularly concerned. But Drago, nonetheless, is making the move here on Matty Pitt into 4th place. He goes down the straight. Job done.
4 times behind.
Yeah, it's very close here. Very, very contentious here between these 3 drivers right now, Trevor Davidoff and C. Faulkner. The tyres, obviously, I would have thought would be playing a factor a little bit, because Trevor's got slightly fresher tyres and is now obviously leading the race as well. And C. Faulkner has got a heck of a job on his hands if he's going to win this race, but Davidoff is going to give it everything here. Obviously, they're on an equal penalty delta here, Trevor and Davidoff, as Ruck's got back ahead of Matty Pitt here up into 5th place. These two continues to swap places. Can Ruck now challenge on Drauger on these fresh medium tyres? He's got a massive penalty delta and is way behind in this race, though.
Yeah, I think the best thing you can try and do is just... well, to be honest with you, I don't really think there is much he can do, because either way he's going to get, put behind, PSRLT, and at that point you can just hope for an 8th at the very best.
Well, no, he doesn't need to pit again, so he's okay.
That's what I'm saying. He's got no, he's got, even if he gets ahead of RNG, he's not going to get very far.
Oh, I see what you mean with the penalties. Yeah, yeah. Well, at the moment, as things stand, he'll stay ahead of Clen, because he's got 4 seconds to him. So obviously, with the 3-second delta, he'd still finish ahead of Clen. He'd drop behind Matty Pitt, as we see here, making the move now. Ruck down the inside into turn 1 on his RNG clan tag associate, and he's made the move there. So now Ruck can try and chase ahead of these top 3. He's got the faster tyres, but has he got the grit and determination to do it, knowing that he's got that delta to try and make up over the course of the next 10 laps of the race here? It's going to be an interesting one here for Ruck. I think maybe... I think P4 might be the summit of his ambitions here, because he'll have a lot of pace advantage over these guys behind him. I reckon maybe P5 might be the limit here, because I reckon he can probably pull out the gap to Matty and Clen, but Drauger, he needs 9 seconds to Drauger. I can't see him doing that.
No, unfortunately. As much as I hate talking smack about another driver, I just do not see it. It's just... it's a bit of a tall order. Don't get wrong, it does look like he has pace. It just has no chance against the energy behind him. He definitely has no chance of catching up to the top 3 ahead.
No, I think you're absolutely right. We've got to go to those top 3, because they are still 3 in a line here as they come down the start-finish straight, and it's a very, very close fight indeed. And Davidoff is getting closer to Trevor every single lap. We see that Davidoff just putting him under a little bit more pressure, and Trevor's got to be feeling it at this point, because he knows that Davidoff's in a similar position. Davidoff's only got 1 lap older tyres, so that's on the hard tyres. That's barely going to make any difference at all. And with the penalties being the same as they are, Trevor knows if he gets 1 more penalty, Davidoff is going to be there to pick up the pieces. But Davidoff knows the same thing. The thing with Trevor. Trevor needs all the points he can get in the championship right now with Matty Pitt. Matty Pitt is in 9th place, and this is a huge opportunity for Trevor to take advantage. But who knows?
Can we move off of this camera, please? Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
That's why I shouted at you.
My bad. Turn your mic down. Turn your headphones down.
I have.
Oh, right. Well, turn them off now. No, don't turn them off.
Okay, then fine.
Okay, never mind. He's just going to go la 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 for the rest of the stream. I'll have to mute him. There we go. That was exquisite.
Don't make me laugh. It hurts my chest. No, it generally does hurt.
No, I know. We spoke about
against it.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. You make it sound so graphic. Well, it is, I guess.
Well, it is, because the breastbone goes right across the lungs. When you breathe in deep, it expands and touches the bone.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, it will be your bad ones. I'll get to stick my thumb up your ass.
I've got a really... Jesus Christ. Right. I mean, I've got a very painful throat at the moment. Don't make any jokes about that. It's not because of anything like that. But shut up. No, it's just because I don't know. I think I had a very, very bad flu the other week. like really horrific. It's actually worse than COVID, and I was bedbound for about 3 days. I just couldn't be asked to do anything, and I still got a cough from that because I was coughing like non-stop, and I've still got a cough because it's lingered and lingered. So although I feel fine now, I still got that. And
there's a bug going about up here as well.
I'm actually surprised it hasn't reared up at all over the course of this stream, because it's been intermittent over the course of today. So I'm actually very grateful for that. Maybe speaking a lot has cleared my voice. Yeah, could very well be. Yeah, C. Faulkner looking close, but the thing is, Davidoff's got DRS here on Trevor, which is going to help him to pull away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but C. Faulkner was closer to Davidoff than Davidoff was to Trevor. But here we go, looking into turn one.
You're thinking better of it.
That would be a ballsy move. It's a medium speed corner. If it was a slow speed corner with a bit more of an entry point, I think he would have gone for it. But in a corner like that, it's too much of a fast corner. Not going to be possible.
Yeah, if Davidoff went for that, you know for a fact that the very fast-paced man behind him would have swooped right by like Lewis Hamilton did in that one race at Silverstone. I cannot for the life of me who he overtook. Charles Leclerc and Sainz.
Yeah. Was it?
No, it was Sainz and oh Christ! Oh my God, what's his name? Perez.
Oh, everyone breezes past Perez. Jesus.
Well, yeah. Well, everybody does now. He's not got to drive.
Yeah, everyone was doing it before, even drivers in midfield teams.
Well, you have to admit, he did do well for a good wee while, but I think the pressure just got to him too much.
I think maybe towards the end of his career, definitely the last couple of seasons, I think some of his drive was no longer there. I think he kind of made it and had done what he needed to do. He knew he wasn't going to win a championship. He knew he was a seat filler, and I think that's always going to take away your ambition. When you know you can't win the championship despite having the quickest car, that's going to definitely... Bottas, yeah, similar situation, but Bottas was much closer to Hamilton than Perez was to Verstappen. Even in his last season, when he knew he was losing his drive, Bottas was still there, you know. Even when he knew that Russell was knocking on the door. Because Russell was knocking on the door, and Bottas got his 1 year extension at the end of 2020 when everyone thought it was going to be Russell. And then he proved why, because he was still solid. But I do think probably that Russell was ready in 2021.
Has another penalty.
He does, yeah. That's going to now even things out here with Trevor and Davidoff, which is absolutely brilliant, because now let's race on again for the win. So obviously it looked like for a moment like Davidoff was going to be out of it, but Trevor feeling the pressure, and we've got ourselves a battle again here. So tuck in.
What did I say? Did the always think could throw the entire figure at whack?
If C. Faulkner can keep his nose clean now, and these two make a mistake, we could be seeing a three-way battle for the lead.
Yep.
So yeah, lots on the line. There we go. There it is. I wasn't lying. But yeah. Evening. So
quietly, that way you don't inconvenience others watching.
We've got John in the comments here. Yeah, I know. So selfish of me, Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't bring everybody down, Jesus Christ. Don't bring everybody down like this. Davidoff here swoops around the outside to take the lead of the race here. Look at that, Trevor held the inside, but Davidoff has absolutely put one on him there. Fantastic driving there from Davidoff, and Trevor's going to try and come back here, coming through this S section, but what a move there from Davidoff around the outside of turn one. And now has the not just the rate lead on the track, but also the genuine net race lead, because obviously they're on the same number of penalties. C. Faulkner here waiting in the wings for these two to trip over each other, which he needs them to do because they've both got less penalties than he does. But yeah, 4.5 laps left to go here in Qatar, and this has now blown this race wide open. They're coming up on some traffic here. That's Rexy Boy in the McLaren, who's just in front of them. So these three will be hoping, or C. Faulkner probably won't, but the other two will be hoping that he moves out of the way.
Well, they've already passed one back marker, and they made it relatively easy for them. So all we can hope here is that Rexy has the same courtesy. No, he's went ghost mode anyway.
We got John in the comments says, evening, sorry I couldn't make the race tonight, but glad to see White Shadow Hole is there. Yeah, White Shadow Hole currently going around in P11 at the moment. Obviously said before the race needed to get around and hope someone retired to get a point here tonight. Yep, here we go once again, and Trevor now on board with him, looking down the inside to try and make the move, and Trevor there taking the lead back off of Davidoff there into turn one. So once again, positions changing left, right and centre. We're seeing trading places lap after lap here.
I think that Davidoff just seems to struggle with that last corner. I've saw multiple times get that, let the back end go loose, and that is exactly what's just costing the lead there.
Interesting that you noticed that. I hadn't picked up on that myself actually, but Ian's very eagle-eyed, and obviously he's raced many times and raced a lot in sim racing over the years. I myself have done a lot more commentating than racing, but very interesting that you pick up on that, and that could be a big factor here, because that is the main overtaking zone. So if he can't get it right out of that corner, he might not just fail to take the win, he could also lose out to C. Faulkner here as well in these last 3.5 laps. So he needs to try and minimise the damage that he's incurring out of that last corner for sure. But
now, I think right now the best thing that Davidoff can hope for is either that he can get ahead of Trevor again, or both Trevor and C. Faulkner have both get just like that.
That's it, it's over. It's over for C. Faulkner now.
So, all he can hope for now is that Trevor picks up another penalty.
Or that these two take each other out.
Wow.
That's the only hope. Oh, it's Davidoff there. Davidoff's now gone as well. That's another one. Oh, I think Trevor's done it. He just needs to keep it together. Easier said than done. As we got Justify in the comments saying, come on, Faulkner. And it looks like maybe the race has got away. Yeah, because he wrote that comment a couple of minutes ago, and he just managed to get around to that, because we've been constantly having to keep up with this action. But see Faulkner attacking here on the back of Davidoff, showing absolutely no waning in terms of his spirit despite that penalty. But like we say, I think that potentially the race may have just got away from him here, as we see Ruck there with a 3-second time penalty. Mentioned earlier on how Ruck got ahead of those other drivers that were around him, and those other drivers have picked up penalties of their own here.
Got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Yeah, well, White Shadow Hole's crashed out of the race. But it's already subsided. We're back underway again. I was just mentioning, Ruck earlier on obviously overtook Drauger and Klen, who at the time had no penalties, whereas Ruck had 9. Now these guys have got 6. Ruck's picked up another one, has got to 12, but the delta is now only 6 seconds as opposed to 9, which does mean that Ruck, if he can get 6 seconds ahead of Drauger, will pick up P4. He's already in a position to pick up P6 ahead of Klen. So Ruck could be on for a P4 here tonight if he can get a little bit more out of this car, but certainly a P5 is on the cards here for our Mercedes driver here tonight. As oh look, T's got a penalty now, and that is now every single driver on the track with at least one penalty to their name. Well done, Qatar. Well done. But Trevor out the front still with just under 2 laps left to go here in this Qatar Grand Prix for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. Round 23 or 24 here for season 11. And Trevor is going to take a massive chunk out of Matty Pitt's championship lead going into the final race of the season on Thursday at Abu Dhabi. But is it going to be enough for him to put himself within a realistic shot of doing it? We'll have to do the maths in a minute. But he's 35 points behind coming into tonight. Matty Pitt having a bit of a mare in tonight's race. He's down in 8th place, and I don't think he's going to change with the penalties. I think he's going to hold position on where he is right now, looking at those penalty boards. So at this time, it's going to be Trevor first and Matty Pitt's 8th, which will be a big gain. Oh, Davidoff's made the move on Trevor, but he's got that penalty, which we've already spoken about. This is now race on, but if Davidoff can force Trevor into a mistake, if he can try and get Trevor to fight this one, which he doesn't need to, if Davidoff can try and get a response here out of Trevor maybe does some track limits, who knows what could happen here.
I mean, it's always possible. He's in the dirty air, but he's about to take that position back, so he's now got DRS.
Yeah, this is it then. So Trevor takes the lead once again into turn 1, and with that penalty delta advantage here, is probably going to see this one out here on this final lap of the race. C. Faulkner there's waiting in the wings, hoping to get a position on the track, maybe hoping to have a little fight here in the closing stages, but it's going to be P3 at best here for C. Faulkner, barring any major changes here on this last lap of the race. Trevor, though, has driven brilliantly And we've seen Trevor in obviously in Las Vegas last Thursday, had a runaway victory, had that all to himself. Tonight he's had to really fight. He hasn't had this one go all his own way. It's been a superb gutsy drive here from Trevor, and as we said, is definitely going to gain a load of points here in the championship on Matty Pitt going into the final round on Thursday night. So giving himself a chance, keeping that title challenge alive, which is all he can do at this point. And the gap, as if I've worked out correctly, before fastest laps will be 14 points. I don't know if Matty Pitt's got fastest laps points turned on. Is it T? How do you know?
It came up earlier on saying that T got the fastest lap. I think he's on the softs.
Oh, you got a good memory. Okay, fair play.
I wouldn't go that far, but
well, neither of them get that fastest lap point, so it will be 14 points. But Trevor, out of the final corner here at Qatar, is going to take the Qatar Grand Prix tonight. Purple sector with a fantastically fought win. Davidoff takes second with C. Faulkner over to complete the podium, and it's going to be Ruck over to take fourth on the track. But Drauger looks like he's within that 6-second gap, so Ruck over the line. Drauger P4 with Ruck in fifth place in the end. And then Glenn will be next over the line out of the last corner here to take sixth place here in this race. So Ruck did manage to pull out enough of a gap there to Glenn in the closing laps to take P5. Street Boy is in the final sector right now and is going to be the next over the line to bring it home in seventh. Oh, as we see Rexy Boy there, the lapped car, fighting it out to the flag there. So Street Boy seventh. Matty Pitt is going to be eighth place, the championship leader. Not the night for Matty Pitt at all. And the gap in the championship, I believe, is 21 points. Oh, 14 points, should I say, because the gain was 21 points. Sorry, getting my numbers mixed up there. The gain was 21 points. The gap is 14 points between those two. No, wait. Yeah, it is, yeah. So, yeah, Trevor scores 25 points. Matty Pitt scores 4. 21 points gained. 14 the gap between those two going into that last round. So all to play for. Obviously, if Trevor were to win and Matty Pitt were to fail to come fourth or higher, then Trevor wins the championship. So it's definitely on the table here for Trevor, and it's going to be an exciting final round on Thursday night. So if you're available, if you're an associate of either of those two or anybody else, then tune in at 8 p.m. UK time. Definitely do not miss this one, because there's a lot to be seen, isn't there, Ian?
yeah, it's going to be non-stop action regardless of where you look. And we will be here, regardless of what the weather's like outside, we will be here to bring you the action live.
Absolutely. So that is the podium celebrations, and that is the confirmation there of the classification. Every single driver picking up at least one penalty, which goes to show the masterpiece of the circuit design, which I believe is mainly for motorbikes, actually, yes. Qatar. That's what it was initially intended for, but obviously Grand Prix racing has become a thing here, and it's provided a real good race, I have to say. And that DRS zone down the start finish straight definitely is a recipe for plenty of overtaking, but ultimately it's meant that a lot of drivers taking liberties here. But Trevor Davidoff and T. Faulkner, congratulations to those guys on the podium. The championship battle rolls over to the final round. Matty Pitt leads Trevor by 14 points. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Good night.
Good night.